So this is my flower field. I'm not sure exactly the size, but I have well over 2 acres to play with here. I started growing on the field in front of our house, but I wanted more room, more space to grow. So just over 8 years ago, we moved most of the flower growing to this side of the property. I've always tried to keep my farm a size that I can do most of the work myself. Not sure if this is always the best decision, but I really just love to grow. I want to be the one with my hands in the dirt, and I have little desire to be a boss and manage employees. So it's mostly just me out here, and then Bob and my kids, and sometimes friends do help at different times. So I'm almost done turning my field into no-till, and step one is laying my fabric paths. So I have a few more areas to finish up, and I think this year I'm gonna plug away at edging the ends with fabric, because I'm really struggling with whatever grass is growing in my field. It used to be a hay field and weed grass. It just grows by runners, and I'm having a really hard time keeping it from coming in, and it's a real bugger to weed. So plus, this looks really tidy. So this is my first area of my field that I stopped tilling. I think this is the 5th year that I haven't tilled this. It's not perfect. I've learned lessons along the way, but overall I'm really happy with how workable the soil is at this time of year. I'm super happy I can pull weeds out without having them break. So it's allowed me to feel more confident planting perennials. Otherwise, in the past, it just became a mess that I could never weed in again. So I'm pretty happy with this. So I weeded the Baptisia here. I have Astilbe up front there, and I have the new phlox I put in last year that I love. All of them are coming up beautifully. I think that they're very happy in the conditions that they're growing in. Someone asked me last week what my favorite color was, and it's green. How can you not love green? It's so beautiful. And this is not grass. It kind of looks like grass, but this is wheat, winter wheat that I planted last fall. So yes, I covered up all the beautiful green rows that were here, but there is still a lot of green rows in the field because my goal last year was to plant more cover crops, and I might have went a little overboard on the cover crops that survive the winter. Like I seeded a lot of winter wheat, I seeded rye, I seeded a new one for me called triticale, and it all survived. It looks great. It's doing great things for my soil, but I also need these beds ready to be have stuff planted in it. So hence the new roll of landscape fabric. We're going to cover up the rows and hopefully they'll terminate as soon as possible and we can start planting in here. So I thought this would be an easier job than this is turning out to be. This is the last area of my field that I want to turn into my no-till rows. But you can see this is what my soil looks like. It's just clay. Clay's not bad, but it's really hard to weed. And obviously the weeds have taken over. I have a lot of grass. I just can't clean it up. So I don't really want to start over on my ladies' mantle. I kind of want to get it out of here and move it to a better bed that I can weed more easily. But I don't know, this is really hard. But if I can get it out, this area, I'm gonna cover crop all year and hopefully improve the soil. And then in a few years, maybe it will look as nice as the other bed. Hopefully a lot easier to work with. So when I moved to this side of the property, the first thing I planted was a patch of peonies. Instead of having this big, beautiful, profitable patch of peonies here, I instead have lost a ton of them. And what's left is a bunch of very unhappy plants. I don't have much time to deal with this, so I pretty much ignored this patch the last couple of years, and I realized I can't ignore it forever. So I thought I should at least try and get a couple rows pulled up this year. But this is a mess, and this is super hard. Whew. Besides the fact that I've not kept those peonies weeded, and I thought I'd planted them on a higher ground, on slightly slope, the area holds way too much water, especially at this time of the year and in the fall when we get a lot of rain again. And the number one thing peonies don't like is having wet feet. So I would suggest if you're going to plant a peony is to find a nice sunny spot and a spot that has great drainage. And I don't know don't know if you can hear the wind out there. It is so windy today, and we got a ton of rain. I don't have my rain gauge out yet, but we got a ton of rain over the last couple days. So I'm done being outside. It's cold. I'm just gonna spend the rest of the day catching up on my seeding and probably taking the dogs for their exercise and running out there and making sure none of my pieces of fabric are blowing away. Anyways, thanks for watching again this week, and I'll see you next time.